Greetings and salutations, everybody. It's I, Jeremy, aka XLJ the OG, and welcome to my AEW Full Gear prediction show. And although it's not quite the WCW Control Center, let's just call it the Cole Control Center. Try saying that 3 times fast. Anyways, as we all know, today is the big day. Tonight is the night. AEW Full Gear live on pay-per-view from Minneapolis, Minnesota at the Target Center. And it is a stacked lineup, a hell of a card. It's going to be an awesome night and one of the most anticipated main events in wrestling history. It's all on the line tonight. So let's just get right into it. Let's run the card down. Now, there is 10 matches booked for the night, and you have 1 match on the buy-in. And let's talk about that real quick. So you're going to see Hikaru Shida team up with Thunder Rosa to take on Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter. And all 4 of these women will actually meet in the TBS Championship Tournament, with Nyla Rose going one-on-one with Shida and Thunder Rosa meeting Jamie Hayter. This should be a good, physical, nice tag team match. Great way to kick off the show, I think. Ultimately, I'm going to go with probably the baby faces. I'm going to say Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida pick up the win, but I could see it going either way, you know. But it should be a fun way to open the night. Now, on to the main card, and you've got 9 matches. There's several matches on here that I think could open the show, but I'm going to go ahead and guess it's probably going to kick off with the 6-man tag team, or the trios, street fight. The street fight's later. This is the Falls Count Anywhere. Come on, man, it's a damn street fight. It's a no DQ, it's whatever. It's going to be a fun time's what it's going to be. So, anyways, I think the trios Falls Count Anywhere match will kick off the show. And that's going to see the Super Clique, the team of Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, take on the team of Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage. So this is a match I've kind of been building for a little while, and technically we've already seen it once, as they did meet in a trios match on the Rampage edition at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. So kind of a rematch of that, however, with the stipulation being Falls Count Anywhere. And the Super Clique's just kind of been running roughshod over AEW, and specifically, you know, ever since day one Adam Cole got there, they've really been up in Christian Cage's and the Jurassic Express business. So each week kind of taking those guys out, and then, of course, them coming back and getting their revenge and beating the crap out of the Super Clique. So I think this will be a fun one. It could possibly steal the show. It's going to be a hell of a way to open the night. That is, if they go that route. And I'm going to say probably the Super Elite or the Super Clique is going to win this. I don't know. You could have the baby faces win, but I'm going to say Adam Cole and the Young Bucks win this. And while we're talking about Falls Count Anywhere, let's talk about the Minneapolis Street Fight, the big 10-man tag team match. It's going to see the Inner Circle of Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz take on the team of Men of the Year, Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and the selection from American Top Team, which will see Andre Arlovsky, Junior Dos Santos, and the fat-faced dipshit himself, Dan Lambert. So, ever since Lambert and his American Top Team guys have been coming in to AEW, kind of been running the crowds down and the wrestling, and kind of having that old school style mentality, which honestly I can respect, and I do love me some old school wrestling. Come on now. Shout out to Memphis Wrestling. But yeah, so this match has been building for a while, with Jericho kind of coming out and confronting the American Top Team. So this should just be a wild brawl. I mean, I'm not expecting, honestly, a significant amount from this match. I mean, it's going to be a fun match. Don't get me wrong. But with the limitations of Dan Lambert, please, I'm really curious to see how Andre Arlovsky does, because I I've always been a fan of his, even back in the UFC. He's a hell of a fighter. But seeing him mix it up in the world of pro wrestling, I don't know. Let's see what he can do. Junior Dos Santos looks pretty good in the ring, especially for somebody being in there kind of for the first time or the first couple times or whatever. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And I'm really excited and happy that Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky is kind of put in the spotlight here in a big-time feud like this. So, it should be a fun one. I would look for this probably to be like mid-range or something as far as on the card, but I say the Inner Circle wins. I think they get their revenge in the feud and thus move on to whatever next storyline may be. But it should be a fun one. So, up next, let's talk about the AEW Title Eliminator Tournament. And this really kind of took a change of pace with unfortunately what happened with Jon Moxley, which we all hope he is doing well. But I am really intrigued by this matchup, as you're going to see Bryan Danielson take on Miro. And Miro is the replacement for Moxley, as he went in and defeated Orange Cassidy in the semifinals. And it's been very interesting, Bryan Danielson run in AEW so far. And what I love about it is he's just going out there and wrestling and having awesome matches, physical matches. And if you notice, he's won all of his matches by submission, and different submissions at that. So you could tell this is like American Dragon. He's coming back, baby. And I think he's having a lot of fun with it. So I think this is going to be your classic big man versus little man match, which Bryan has done so great throughout the years. Honestly, going into it, I was definitely thinking, oh yeah, it's obviously going to be Bryan Danielson. But now that Miro's in there, I don't know, because think of it this way. Miro lost the TNT Championship to Sammy Guevara. And then, of course, he picks up his win against Orange Cassidy. But do you really see him losing another big-time match again? I don't know. But then do you see Bryan Danielson losing his first match on pay-per-view for AEW? So it could go either way. I want to say Bryan Danielson, but honestly, I think Miro's going to do it. And I think that just helps build his character all the more into being this colossal badass that he is. And I'm going to say I think Miro pulls off the win. And I'm going to throw this out there because I think, like last time, you will see some surprises on this pay-per-view. I wouldn't be surprised if a ravishing Russian may, in fact, show up tonight and have something to say about this match. So who knows? But I'm going to predict Miro wins the Title Eliminator Tournament. And it would have been a hell of a match against Moxley and Danielson, and you'll see that someday. But once again, wish Jon Moxley all the best, and this should be a hell of a match. I'm really looking forward to this match. I think this is one of those matches, and there's like 3 or 4 on the card, this being one of them that could really steal the show tonight. Speaking of show-stealing matches, let's talk about MJF going one-on-one with Darby Allen. This should be a freaking awesome match. And what's cool about this is the first time these two guys are ever meeting in an AEW ring. Now, I know, yes, they've met many a times before in the past in the indies. However, it's unique that their paths haven't really crossed in the history of AEW so far. And it all started with MJF when he was mentioning the 4 pillars of AEW. As he's talking about himself with Darby Allen, the Jungle Boy, and Sammy Guevara. And not really giving Darby any credit, but in reality, Darby's the only one of those guys that's won a championship so far. And he's the only guy who's been put in a massive high-profile match like he was a couple months ago at All Out against CM Punk. So, completely different clash of styles here as far as in ring and character. Classic good guy versus bad guy, right? I look for this to be a fun match, and I think this is another one that could be one of the better matches of the night. Maybe even steal the show, who knows? And it's a unique spot for these guys, too, because you have, off the last pay-per-view, both of these guys coming off a loss. But I think in Darby losing to Punk, he came out even stronger. So I'm going to go ahead and say I think MJF pulls off the win here. I think MJF is going to win and continue on his run. But that being said, I don't think this will be the end of the feud. And of course, expect there to be some sort of bullshit, carny, heelish actions. I'm sure MJF commits tonight. So my prediction, MJF's going to go over in this one. And a match that just was recently added this past week onto the card is a tag match that's going to see Cody Rhodes team up with Pac to take on Andrade Idolo and Malachi Black. And this should be a fun, interesting tag match. These four have been feuding with each other for several weeks now. It's kind of unique that they would put this on a pay-per-view. You know, back in the day they do stuff like this. But usually this would kind of be, you'd see like the tag match on your TV, and then your build to your pay-per-view would be like a big blow-off one-on-one, single matches for them. But kind of the complete opposite here, where they had their one-on-one matches, and now they're having this tag match on Full Gear. But I think this should be a fun tag team match. I'll be curious to see the chemistry between Pac and Cody. But it's really interesting, the Malachi Black and Andrade relationship, seeing as in real life Malachi Black's wife used to manage Andrade Idolo. So that should be interesting to see where that goes to, as Malachi Black has hinted at building his House of Black. I'm going to say I could see this one going either way, honestly, man. I'm going to say Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo pick up the win. And I think what you'll see is a little bit of dissension there, probably between Cody and Pac towards the end, a little resentment, if you will. But I think they're building something that's going to be quite fun to see with Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. And there's 3 championship matches on the card tonight as well. And let's talk about the AEW Tag Team Championship match, as you're going to see the champions, the Lucha Brothers, defend against FTR. And this should be a freaking awesome match. These guys have great chemistry with each other, completely different styles. The build for this has been pretty decent. I've enjoyed it. Seeing FTR come out as the masked luchadors to defeat the Lucha Brothers for their AAA Tag Team Championship. It's been a full year since FTR has lost those belts, so it's interesting to see that come full circle. Will they win tonight, though? I don't think so. I think I gotta go Lucha Brothers on this one, just simply for the fact of, they just really have started their reign. I don't see them losing anytime soon. FTR is a formidable opponent. And I think this match is probably going to be the one match that you're going to say does steal the show tonight. That match is going to be off the charts. And the Lucha Brothers, man, they're the Lucha Brothers. That's all you got to say. It's the Lucha Brothers. But I think FTR, it's going to be a hell of a match, but ultimately they're going to come up short, as the Lucha Brothers will retain their Tag Team Championship. And also, the AEW World Women's title is on the line as champion Britt Baker defends against number 1 contender Ty Conti. And this is a match that I think is going to be a lot different than people think. I think people kind of see it on paper as, okay, this is just another challenger for Britt Baker, until, whenever they get to her big feud with, in my opinion, it's going to be Thunder Rosa, but time will tell on that. But no, man, I think Ty Conti is a very formidable challenger, and I think this is tremendous for her to get a title opportunity at such a big pay-per-view. And it's interesting to see the evolution of Ty Conti over the years. When she was used in NXT or WWE or whatever, and to see her character now, she's being truly allowed to be herself, I think. And she does have that Brazilian jiu-jitsu background, so this should be a very interesting contest. I think Ty Conti will come close, but I do think DMD will prevail in the end. So I think the Good Doctor is going to pull this one out. And then, of course, the match between Eddie Kingston and CM Punk. And although they haven't had a whole lot of time to tell this story on TV, but you don't need a whole lot of time. This is one of those stories that just writes itself with history of Eddie Kingston and CM Punk both being in this industry for over 20 years now. This one I am really looking forward to. I think, man, it just blows my mind, that promo they did on Rampage. Like, Eddie Kingston, you sold me, man. Same for CM Punk too, but holy shit. This match is going to be freaking awesome. It's another one I think can steal the show. And you're not going to see a bunch of high flying here, folks. You're not going to see a bunch of flippity flips, if you will. It's going to be some hard hitting, good professional wrestling action. Ultimately, yeah, I'm going to say CM Punk pulls this out. But it's cool to see Eddie like being put in spots like this, and I think it really builds his character as well. And I do think, in my heart of hearts, man, I just believe, I don't know when, I don't know where, but somehow Eddie Kingston will be a world champion. But this is just another part of his evolution. And he has such a unique story, too. But, like I say, it's ultimately, in the end, I'm going with Punk on this one. And, of course, let's talk about the main event, the match years in the making. AEW World Champion Kenny Omega against Hangman Adam Page. And you guys know the story. You know how I feel about it. But if you haven't checked it out already, check out Hangman Unhung, A Cowboy's Journey. Available now on Cole TV. But this match, it's been a long time, since I can remember a build to a matchup like this. It's been a slow build. It's been an intricate story, just with little nuances here and there, little twists and turns. And it's crazy because on paper, historically speaking, this would be a no-brainer who's going to win this match. But honestly, we don't know. Is Hangman going to do it? I mean, there's a lot of questions out there. There's a lot of elements you've got where, okay, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, these guys are now in AEW. Should they be the world champion, you know? And you've got other guys like coming up the ranks. And is it too early for Kenny Omega to end his reign? Even though it's been almost a year and he is currently the longest reigning AEW champion. So many questions. Who do I think's going to win? Come on, man. Come on. You know I love a good story. And I think tonight, cherry on top, the piece de resistance. I think this is the night Hangman Adam Page finally gets his AEW World title. I'm so excited for this whole pay-per-view, but this match alone, man, it's going to be epic. I think you're going to look at this a couple years from now, and this is going to be tonight a pivotal moment in the history of All Elite Wrestling. It's going to be one of those moments you're going to remember years from now. I'm so excited. I'm jazzed. I'm ready. I'm ready for this match like the rest of everybody. I think it's going to be an awesome, awesome, awesome bout. I hope it's up there, and I think it can be, and rival like matches like in the Tokyo Dome with Kenny and Okada and whatnot. So, yeah, man, Full Gear is going to be off the hook. I cannot wait. And as we all know, we will be having a watch party tonight. However, we are still having technical difficulties with our software with YouTube. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that on YouTube. However, don't fret. We will be on Facebook tonight for our watch party. So I'm going to leave the address here for where to check it out. Just join us. Around 7 o'clock, we'll kick off the pre-show. 7:30ish. So if anybody truly, y'all know me, it's probably going to be more like 7:30, but we'll see. But yeah, man, it's going to be a hell of a night tonight. I hope everybody enjoys it. Look forward to seeing people tonight, and just enjoy this, man. This is going to be an awesome, awesome, awesome pay-per-view. So I will see you all tonight. So I'm Jeremy, aka XLJ the OG. We'll see you at Full Gear.